ever thought about the choices we have in grief? Now, I know early on it doesn't feel like there's any choice. We didn't choose to lose our loved one, even if it was expected. Of course, we don't get to choose who dies, when they die, how we die, any of that. That is out of our control. However, choices have to be made right at the beginning of our grief, and we don't really realize that we have these choices to make every day. The choice to get out of bed, the choice to have a shower, to get dressed, to interact with people. The choices are made around the funerals and all of those things that you have to do around the estate. Every single one of them is a choice, and they sort of are forced upon you. You don't really feel like you have choice, but you do the things, right? But as you are moving through your grief, I think one of the things that we have to consider is the choice to become an active participant in our grief rather than a passive observer. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that grief doesn't just take time. We do have to take a part on our healing journey, because after all, we do have a life left to live, and we have to choose that. How do we do that? We have to start making these little itsy bitsy choices, those ones that start with getting out of bed, getting dressed, going to the shops, perhaps going back to work when the time is right, openly mourning, really feeling the emotions. This is a choice rather than, pushing them down, which is also a choice, which is what I did, and it didn't work out well for me. So we have these many, many choices, but the biggest one, I think, is this choice of, are we going to live the life we have left? Or are we going to sort of wait and just hope that it gets better? And from my experience, I think it is a big and it is a difficult choice. It's not an easy choice. I remember sitting there on the sofa thinking, now what? A year after Brian had died. And it was a choice. It was an active choice to start looking about how I can bring more joy into my life, how I can really even approach life with this loss, with the loss of this love of my life. It was a difficult choice to do that, and it takes time and effort, but I believe that as we are active in our grief, as we start to allow ourselves to express how we feel, to show how we feel, rather than put up this facade of, yes, I'm fine, and really tell people these are active things that we're doing in our grief to help us process it and integrate it, because the truth is, if you have loved somebody, that grief will always be there. That grief of loss, it doesn't mean you stop loving them. But the choice is, do we stay in the past with that absence, with that loss? Or do we allow it to come with us as we move forward? It isn't an easy choice. I know it isn't. And that's why support is so helpful, whether that's with me, another coach, your family, good friends. But grief shouldn't be done alone. You want to do this with somebody who can nurture you and encourage you to move in that forward direction and make choices that are good for you. So as we think of choice in grief, remember it starts with the very early stages of small, minuscule choices, maybe going out for a walk, maybe going out for a cup of tea with someone, until you come to a place where you can start thinking about your life as you move forwards. Maybe you've got 10, 20, 30 years. I think I probably thought about having almost 35 years after Brian died. That's a long time to sit in grief and to let it define me. And I chose not to let it define my whole life. Does it mean I don't grieve? No. Does it mean I don't have grief bursts? No, of course I still have that. But I'm choosing every day to be thankful for the life that I still have. So I hope this helps you thinking about choice and about what you want to do with the life you have left, despite the pain of loss. You have a choice. Are you going to be active and move forward? Or are you going to be a passive participant where you just kind of stay and hope for the best? I hope that you're able to choose life with the support you need. Take care.